Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and guys, this is our NXT review. And I've only got one word for tonight's episode of NXT: happy. I was so freaking happy watching tonight's episode of NXT. I can't remember the last time I personally had that much fun with an episode. We got one really amazing tag match, and then another tag match that probably would have been great had it not turned into a full-on assault. We got to see Nia Jax in action again. We got to see storylines continue to progress. Again, and I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately, it felt like this NXT had virtually everything, and I just couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear, especially with, if I could say so personally, the tag team segments. Ashton, what did you think of tonight's episode?
This was such a good episode of NXT. I loved this show, and it's one of those things where we enjoy NXT every week, but this show was something special.
I mean, partner, you know that an NXT has me, jazzed up and in a good mood when the first words out of my mouth when it goes off the air are, I'm ready to record. Because normally I'm never that ready. And, I got ready preemptively. I'm like, I cannot wait to talk about all these segments tonight. This was just such a productive hour. I think that's the word I'm looking for here. It seemed like they accomplished so much in 1 hour. And again, even though this past Raw wasn't bad, it's actually been getting really good reviews from people, which is nice to see, and I like how they kind of shook things up a bit. I still feel like, on the whole, an hour of NXT is more consistently productive than 3 hours of Raw on a weekly basis. And episodes like this just show you why. So, Ashton, unless there's anything else you want to say, I want to get right into this, brother.
Well, just since you brought up Raw, here's my thing with Raw. Raw, to me, is a show that should keep you hooked. It's a show where you should be just itching to watch the whole show from beginning to end. And I shouldn't even just say that about Raw. That's just wrestling shows in general, whether they're 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. I don't care. The job is to keep the viewer tuned in. It's to make you want to not change the channel during the commercial because you don't want to miss the first couple minutes on the other side of the commercial. It's supposed to make you desperate to find out more or to see more when the show goes off the air. And Raw hasn't done that in so incredibly long. I feel like, and we've talked about this, I feel like the last time Raw did that was when Daniel Bryan turned on Bray Wyatt in a cell.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. Whereas with NXT, just about every week, it's like, wow, I can't wait to see these stories continue.
Yeah, and you know what's really, really just a literal example of me wanting to watch more? I told you, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, a lot of the time I'll let NXT play for the first 5 minutes or so, and then when it gets to the first commercial break, I'll rewind for 30 seconds to a minute and just kind of go from there. And then when I get back to the commercial, I'll fast forward through the commercial. So it's like I created my own little version of TiVo on the network. And
right.
I get so into what's going on that I intentionally skip over commercials, even if it means having to rewatch 30 seconds or a minute or 90 seconds of a match all over again that I've already seen, just because I would rather rewatch part of a match. Tonight it was with the Jason Jordan-Chad Gable match. When Chad Gable was in the ring and he was doing his thing, just going nuts with the ridiculous transitions, and then they were getting ready to go to commercial, I saw they were going to commercial, I rewound it a minute and a half, and rewatched the Chad Gable sequences, and then when it got to commercial, all I had to do was skip forward 20 seconds, and I was still behind the network's live feed, but I got past that commercial. And that's kind of been my strategy watching NXT lately, and it works out so well, because not only do I get to skip commercials, but then I'm also not completely live, so I don't skip or lag as much either.
Right, and that, yeah. No, what were you going to say? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you were right, though. I heard what you were getting ready to say. That match was incredible.
Dude, I can't wait to talk about it more in depth. So with that said,
to me, that was the best match on NXT television since before Kevin Owens left.
You know what? I would agree. I got so ridiculously into it, but again, I want to get more into it when it's appropriate to get into it. So do you want to move on to our first segment?
Let's.
All right, heat of the night. I ain't got a heat of the night. I ain't got a nitpick of the night. I ain't got a complaint of the night. I ain't got jack. I love this episode of NXT tonight. What about you, partner?
I completely agree. This is one of those episodes of NXT where it feels good to be able to say that I don't have any heats of the night, and it's just like it's not one of those. Yeah, it was all right, but there wasn't anything super offensive, so I'll just let it slide. No, there was nothing wrong with this show.
Dude, this show had everything. It even appealed to my inner sadism, which we'll get to that later. But yeah.
Really, really love the mechanics.
We'll get to that. But with that said, it just feels so good to be this happy.
Yeah.
Let us get right into, guys, our NXT review. And brother, how do we open this baby up?
With Emma.
Yes, my wife. Well, actually, estranged ex-partner, but this isn't about me. She goes one-on-one with, I believe it was pronounced Shazza, correct? Yeah.
Or if you're Australian, Shazzer.
There you go.
I think that's a Brooklyn way of saying it too. So two completely opposite dialects saying it the same way.
Yeah, I just don't want to be commentators with Tommaso Ciampa. I don't want to pull that here.
Or Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh my God. Feels like Albert behind the desk all over again.
Charlotte.
You know what this really was? Like, it's weird, Ashton, because I've gotten so used to, and I don't mean this as a criticism, just an observation, but I've gotten so used with NXT, when you have a debuting talent, there's always like a point in the match where they seem to get like a flurry of offense or show something.
I'm so glad we had the same freaking observation here. This was like a borderline squash match.
Yeah, I think it crossed that border pretty.
I even have in my notes. This was an Emma exhibition. This was just showing how brutal Emma is now, showing how relentless she is, showing what she can do when an opponent doesn't take her seriously. And I loved it. It was awesome.
Dude, and like, obviously, anybody can accuse me of bias, and I think that accusation would stick, because I've loved Emma even when she was the goofy babyface, but she just looks so legitimate in there as a heel. It really is a shame that we're having all the complaints about the chokehold air quotes, Divas Revolution, and all the problems with that, because I would love if it was a better place for her to get in the mix, because I think she's an amazing heel, both, out of the ring in terms of the character, and just in the ring with her ability. That curb stomp she's added to her arsenal, amazing.
Oh, yeah, the curb stomp with the Indian Deathlock setup.
Yes.
That she turns into the Emma lock. Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, dude, forgive me if I'm committing hyperbole here, but that looks so devastating. I could buy that as a finisher on its own. Like, she doesn't even need the Emma lock after that. That's just being sadistic to me. But I think it's the perfect setup at the same time. So, yeah.
We saw another variation of the Indian Deathlock later in the night from frickin' Scott Dawson, but we'll talk to that when we get to it.
Yeah, we did.
You're so excited to get to that.
I'm excited to get to everything. I'm just so freaking jazzed up right now. But yeah, Emma just really just beat the crap out of Shazza. And yeah, Dana Brooke, who I guess recovered from just being knocked the F out by Asuka. Just like, yeah, break her. And you know what? I compared to Eva Marie lately, like I'm starting to embrace Dana Brooke a little bit. I'm like, you're only getting on my nerves like, I don't know, 5% of the time now, so we're all making progress.
Wow, that's an impressive jump from the 99% that I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, small doses. It was probably because she was at ringside, didn't get any mic time or anything. Wait till like a few weeks, we'll probably get back to it.
It's so weird to me, because everything about Dana Brooke just screams soccer mom.
Really does.
Except for her muscles, which are gigantic.
Oh my God. But yeah, man, I mean, there's really not much to say. I'm so glad that you and I were on the same wavelength with that observation, because I felt the need to bring that up.
You know what's funny too?
What's that?
I'm beginning to feel like Dana Brooke is going to be my new Natalya.
You know what? I have a feeling about that too.
Because I feel like everyone is getting behind her, and everyone is like, oh, Dana Brooke's doing good heel work now. She's actually doing well. And I'm still stuck in just go away, get off my television, no thank you.
And I feel like you are justified to feel that way, but I will say this, and I can't believe I'm about to say this phrase. In Dana Brooke's defense, there goes a kidney. Yep, I probably took my lifespan off 8 years. But, I think, unlike Natalya, because I feel like Natalya wants to ride on the coattails of her namesake, I do feel like Dana
And
Brooke.
Dana Brooke likes to ride on the coattails of her freaking non-wrestling based accomplishments.
Yeah, it's so true. I gave up the Arnold Classic to be here. Can't even do it.
You sound like you're doing a really bad impression of that old fortune teller woman that died.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
No, you know what? She might not have died. I might have taken a step too far there. That might have been just like random comics that say she should have or something. No, the one that told the couple that their daughter was dead and then they ended up finding the daughter.
Sylvia Brown, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's the one. You sounded like you were doing a really bad impression of her.
Well, that puts me on Cry Time Watch tonight. But yeah, good matchup.
He's already dead, honey.
That's Smoker's Long now.
That's what she sounds like.
How many packs did you get through today, Sylvia? But yeah, fun matchup. I
smoke in packs.
I
smoke in boxes, honey.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say cartons was gonna be my next. But yeah, I mean, just surprising that I think you really said it best. This was an Emma exhibition. Love the curb stomp edition, and yeah, I'm stoked.
This was really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So up next we had the James Storm recap. We got to see the promo that he cut on the YouTube channel afterwards. That was just him talking about how psyched he was to be there. He goes through his whole rambling thing about all the stuff that he does, and he's from Middle Tennessee and whatever that is. It's kind of like the Ric Flair. It is. It's kind of like the Ric Flair limousine ride and high five, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but James Storm is happy to be here. Basically, is what it sums up to.
I'm the Southern Apollo Crews. Yeah.
The
solid.
Southern angry, always yelling at the camera, Apollo Crews.
Yes. Yeah, I think you guys know my opinion on James Storm. I'm not that high on the guy on a personal level, but I am happy to see him get his shot. Crowd really received him well, which I thought was legitimately cool and very classy on the part of Full Sail to give James Storm a moment like that. And I do wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, so, James Storm is like my Triple H thing, because like those of you that saw the SummerSlam, or no, it wasn't the SummerSlam. It was this most recent, the NXT Takeover Respect conference call that Triple H did. He pointed out how there's some stuff that I don't really get and that doesn't really connect with me, but the crowd's going crazy for it, so I just kind of send it out there and say, yeah, sure, go do your thing, and it works. That's James Storm with me. I've never gotten the appeal to him, but my mom absolutely adores him, and I know you at least like him to a degree, and it seems like everyone just loves the guy, and it just has never clicked with me. But you know what? It's working, so hey, cool. I'm glad he's here.
I mean, what it comes down to for me with James Storm, and I don't mean to use this phrase to be a dick, but a place for everything and everything in its place. I feel like James Storm does have a place here, but let's not, like we said last week, or it may have been 2 weeks ago, let's not overemphasize that place.
Well, and that's another thing, too. Our one commenter, and he's been great. He's been with us for such a long time, Ecstasy69. We kind of mess with you a little bit, man, but we appreciate your comments. He almost got offended that I suggested that he might be on a Rhino deal. Because, like, to me, he's somewhere between Rhino and Samoa Joe, and he was like, no, he's way closer to Samoa Joe than Rhino, and I just don't see it. But
I don't see it either, personally.
That's just one of those things, though, where it's different strokes for different folks, man.
Exactly. So, you know what? I think that's the best way you could say it, so let's just move on.
Absolutely. So, up next, we had a really cool Finn Balor video package. We haven't seen something like this since before Japan, since before Tokyo. We got to see a bunch of fans talking about how cool he is and how great he is, and then we got a few little tidbits from his mini documentary that we saw leading up to the Tokyo show, and we even see him say something that really stuck with me was that he feels like everywhere he's gone, he's left it better than he found it, and he wants to do that with NXT and in the future with WWE as well.
I thought that was a great closing sentiment by Finn Balor. And it's funny because I mean, I've heard this phrase. Sometimes I feel like, it may not really, be the best phrase to use, but Finn, he's the NXT champion, but I feel like he does carry himself like a champion and like a leader, in the locker room.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like kind of the thing too. It's weird because anytime you hear someone being like even a diva, like one of the Bella twins says, oh yeah, we'd rather be in NXT because they get time. there are always these questions of like, oh, are they going to get in trouble for saying that or something like that? Finn Balor doesn't give a shit, man. Finn Balor just comes out and says, to me, NXT is a bigger deal. To me, like, I would rather be NXT champion than WWE champion because I'm here in NXT, and it's to me, like, he prefers it there.
Right. You know, and he lets it roll off his back, and you gotta respect somebody like that because, you know, you look at some of the greats in the industry, they didn't get there without stepping on some toes.
Yeah, I mean, there need to be people like that for NXT to thrive, because if you're, like, if your NXT roster is just filled with people thinking, oh, this is just some shit show that I need to put up with until they give me the real gig, then the quality is going to be awful, or at least mediocre at best.
Yeah. But I don't think, and that's the beautiful thing, I don't think there is a perception of NXT that way because you see what it's turned into, and it's incredible. I mean, they've got a London show this December that's going to be just amazing. And,
do we know, were tickets already on sale, and if so, has it sold out?
Oh, I think it sold out, quite a while ago, actually. I felt like I heard news that it sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a success. And knowing that Finn Balor's kind of spearheading that as the champion has got to be a great feeling for him. And yeah, I agree with you. I love this video package. You can never humanize a character enough. I liked how they opened it with fan perspectives, including Izzy, because, you know, she's kind of become her own little legend at Full Sail. And, you know, it was just a really well done video package. And yeah, we get to know more about, the man behind the demon and Finn Balor.
And even the man behind the demon, because we even had Becky talking about Fergal rather than Finn.
Exactly. So. And man, that was so welcomed for the Tokyo video packages, so it was a nice return here as well. Good stuff.
Yeah. So then we get to the one match that we want to talk about most. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan versus Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This match was absolutely phenomenal. And I said it before, and I'm going to repeat it just because it's topical now. This, to me, is the best match that we've had on NXT television since the last time Kevin Owens had an NXT championship match on NXT television.
You know, my first thought when this match concluded was, my God, are Gable and Jordan really cooking now?
Oh,
because I was enjoying these guys when they came together.
And I love, too, that the crowd is cheering for both of them and not just Gable anymore.
Thank you, Ashton, because that was going to be one of my observations, too, that I was going to talk about.
Because at the last match, at the Respect match, I think it was, the crowd was just Gable, and they were just doing Gable in the tune of Angle's theme music, but now it's Gable, Jordan, like they're going back and forth. It's so cool.
I love it.
And it's hilarious, too, because if you look at these guys, they are two sides of the same coin, and that coin's name is Kurt Angle, because Chad Gable has the incredible technical prowess and, of course, the goofy, silly sense of humor that always came with Kurt. Jason Jordan has the elite physical prowess and the intensity that Kurt always brought.
Yes. I love that. I love that analysis. Well, I mean, I might as well just throw my notes away because there's no way I'm going to top that, but I'm going to try anyway. I love this.
Did you notice that, though? Because, like, to me, we've made constant Chad Gable, Kurt Angle comparisons, but when Jason Jordan gets on his role and he takes the straps down, he reminds me of Kurt. It's insane.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And, you know, like you already touched upon, it is such a relief to me that the NXT universe has embraced Jordan and Gable both. Yes. Because to me, and here's what I was thinking too, Ashton, it's funny because you and I have had many talks about the tag team division, and I'll go ahead and I'll say this right now. Even though I could see some improvements in the main roster, sure, I'd say tag team wrestling on the whole in WWE is doing pretty freaking well right now because I'm loving NXT's tag division, and the main roster tag division is led by the New Day, which is one of the best acts in general.
That's about all they have, though.
Yeah, that is about all they had. That's why I said it could still use some improvements on the main roster, but at least you've got
unless, of course, the I don't remember what they call it. Was it European Ultra?
European Ultras, I think they call themselves a 3-person team.
If those guys get into the tag division, yes, dude, 6-man tags between them and the New Day every day.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Especially if we get promo battles involving Barrett and Woods. Yes!
Oh my God, that would be incredible. But why I bring that up is I know you and I have sometimes gone through the tag teams in NXT and we say who can adapt to the main roster and who can't.
Oh my god, dude, Gable and Jordan, and I think, really, I would struggle more to think of a tag team in NXT that wouldn't be able to come up to the main roster than I can finding one that can, because there are tons that can. Gable and Jordan, no doubt. The Mechanics, I think, would be good. Enzo and Big Cass, obviously. Maybe I would say the Vaudevillains might struggle just because their gimmick is more suited, I think, for NXT. But other than that, I can't really think of any.
And you have been consistent about the Vaudevillains, because I was even going to say that was the one rare team where you kind of had your doubts.
Yeah.
And me, like,
I mean, I would even say Blake and Murphy would be amazing on the main roster.
Oh yeah. But to get back to my original point, I mean, and agreeing with you, I think Jordan and Gable will thrive on the main roster, and they better come up together. Because to me, do I see a future for Gable in singles? Absolutely. Jordan, I don't really know if I could say yes definitively to Jason Jordan.
Dude, it's look at him. Are you serious? You really think that he's going to be on the main roster and Vince isn't going to push him?
I think he'll get pushed. I mean, maybe he'll have that, because I don't know how far Gable will go, to be fair. Maybe Jason Jordan will have that kind of, what would you say?
All I can say is Jason Jordan has like 8-time Intercontinental Champ written all over him.
Well, I was even going to say, like, he definitely strikes me, and no pun intended here, because I know we're going to talk about that team later, but he definitely strikes me as a mechanic, as a guy that will, really kind of monopolize the Intercontinental Championship. Gable, I don't know how far he'll go, but I think the reason why I think Gable will go farther than Jordan is I just think Gable has more charisma. I think that translates better in terms of success.
I know that this is a really wide range, but to me, Jason Jordan's ceiling is somewhere, and again, it's ridiculous that I'm even going here, but his ceiling is somewhere between Shelton Benjamin and John Cena.
Yeah. And that really is a wide ceiling. Goddamn.
I'm trying to say that because I think it's somewhere more close to the middle of those two ceilings, but still, that's a really good place to be.
Yeah, certainly.
Because, I mean, the only reason I bring up Shelton Benjamin is because of just the incredible athleticism that this dude has.
Oh my God. And see, that's really what I've been trying to get to. My main point, bringing up the main roster and everything else. Dude, like, I know, and I even said it on Pleetoff, for the longest time, the Vaudevillains have been my favorite tag team. And don't get me wrong, I still love those guys. I'm proud that they're champions. They deserve that success. But, dude, Jordan and Gable just speak to me, man. They speak to what I loved in childhood. They speak to my love of tag team wrestling that I developed over the last few years. They're perfect. They are the perfect package. And seeing them go against Gargano and Ciampa tonight and just have this clinic. And the crazy thing was, the crowd was solidly behind Jordan and Gable the whole time.
Johnny Gargano.
And Johnny, I was going to mention that. And the only support on the other side really seemed to be for Gargano, which I'm just sitting here like, oh, poor Ciampa. But,
that just means Ciampa's doing his job, though, because I feel like they were supposed to be the heels in this match.
That is true. And I look at all four of those guys and the clinic they put on, and I think to myself, my God, if Jordan and Gable are not future NXT Tag Team Champions, then I just give up making predictions altogether. Because that should be one of the easiest predictions to make.
Well, I mean, you say that, but if they get called up to the main roster next week, they can't win titles.
Well, that is true, and I wouldn't mind them being called up next week now that you put that out there. But they're amazing. They're my favorite tag team. I want them to win the gold now. I'm not going to be all hurtful and stab in the back and say I'm over the Vaudevillains. But, I mean, if we could just kind of pick up the pace a little bit and get Jordan and Gable into that title picture, that'd be great. Just so many great moments in this match. Ciampa and Gargano, their teamwork was great with the kicks and just isolating Gable. How Gable and Jordan can pick apart an arm, for God's sakes. All the arm throws and Greco-Roman knuckle locks and all that stuff. Fantastic. Jordan's hot tags just continue to get better.
Dude, that sequence between Gable and Ciampa.
Oh my God, dude.
Where Gable went up into a bridge and Ciampa tried to break it and Gable stood still, and then Ciampa tried again and he stood still, and then he did like a little leg sweep and that knocked him down and the ref counted to 2, and then Gable shot his arm up and then they did like the double bridge and they both had each other's shoulders pinned. Oh, it was so good.
I'm telling you, Ashton, ever since the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic where Jordan and Gable faced Corbin and Rhino, I just feel like these guys have been cooking on a whole nother level. Yes. Like, they were finding their footing, and now it is off to the freaking races.
They hit the ground running, brother.
They did, because these past 2 matches have been exemplary, and I know that's just as much to do with the opposition as the team themselves, but damn if these guys can't suck you into a match, because this crowd twice was chanting, "This is awesome." And again, I know it's the effort of all four
and
guys.
multiple This Is Wrestling chants too.
Yeah. But I mean, Jordan and Gable. God, I love them so much. I love technical wrestling. I love tag team wrestling. It's so freaking good. I want to take on the world after this freaking match. And I was so afraid because I wanted them to win so bad. Because again, my end goal for these guys, NXT tag team champions and maybe one day main roster tag team champions, but I don't want to jump the gun. And when Gargano and Ciampa,
the gun, just jump the shark already.
but Gargano and Ciampa, when they're double teaming Jordan and Gable's all distracted with the referee, I'm like, no, don't you do. And I don't even have a problem with Gargano and Ciampa. It's just I'm like, no, not today. Do not win this match today.
And then Jordan kicks out.
Well, yeah, Gable broke up the count. Yeah, because Jordan got spiked with that DDT, I believe, from Gargano, which looks sick. And then Gable makes the last second save, and just everything, man. And then their double team finisher, which has grown on me, that whole lift up, and then you catch him in the back suplex bridge. Just fantastic. They get the win. I mean, my mark out is pretty much my note for this match. How's that for you? Because
you're still kind of doing it a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm just even thinking about like my favorite moments in this match. Like I was talking about Jordan's hot tag before you mentioned like one of your favorite moments with the back and forth between Ciampa and Gable. Jordan's hot tag between coming down to the straps and he's pumped up. He does the running shoulder thrust and then that capture T-bone suplex, or no, just that capture suplex. And
the belly to belly,
amazing. The belly to belly when he like changes. Oh my god! I'm in love. I'm in love with these people. So
okay, John. Yeah. Now before we move on, I have one more observation to make.
Absolutely.
Is it just me, or does NXT right now have a very Paul Heyman SmackDown feel?
Oh my god! Yes.
Like that 03 to 05 kind of SmackDown era.
It's
with
so
the SmackDown 6 and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's funny you say that because I've been watching like YouTube clips and videos of that era, and totally same vibe, dude. Oh my god. Oh, I'm loving it right now. NXT. You once called NXT as an oasis in the desert of just the WWE, and boy did it prove itself to be that tonight.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was so good.
What's next, brother?
Are you sure you're ready to come down from this?
I'm ready, willing, and Gable to come down from this. Don't worry.
I didn't even intentionally set you up for that, but I'm glad I did.
So what's next?
We had a Devin Taylor interview, probably the last episode we're ever going to see her on, with Bayley. And Bayley, as great of a role model as she is, she's not without her flaws. This girl seriously needs to learn some promo stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I'm really happy for Bayley, and I'm even happier for her with the success that she's generated being who she is.
Yeah.
But her promos are still a bit clunky to me.
Yeah.
The good news, I think, is...
I feel like she was dodging the question a lot here.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way, too. It's kind of like she was dancing around it to me. I think the good news, Ashton, is that when you're a babyface like Bayley, I don't think you have to be the best talker.
Right. She's got like that Daniel Bryan, no matter what she says or how she says it, she's going to still be beloved because she can do no wrong kind of status.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually feel like I've liked her promos better like when she's in front of a crowd than her backstage stuff.
Yeah, definitely better without the tight scripting.
Yeah, I feel like Bayley does better when there's an atmosphere around her and she can kind of feed off of that, rather than when she's just trying to, progress a feud as she did here. Yeah. And really her thing was, well, Alexa just seems upset because I haven't changed. I'm this role model, and she's mean. And ever since she's been hanging out with who she calls her boys, Blake and Murphy, she's become this totally different person. And yeah, like I don't even remember Devin's initial question, but I don't know. For Bayley, it was just like, oh well, Alexa's just this bully. I'm the champion, and I'm gonna take care of it. Seemed pretty basic. Yeah. Not really anything offensive or like harmful that like take me off, but just a really by the numbers face promo from Bayley here for me.
Absolutely. Speaking of by the numbers, up next we get a by the numbers heel promo from Eva Marie, who's coming back extremely soon.
Yeah, unfortunately. See how both of our voices trailed off there with despair? Yeah, so, it's just like...
The complete and utter despair. Anyway.
And she's just like, oh, I miss all of you guys. Oh, Eva, the feeling is the furthest thing from mutual. And she's like, well, I'm going to catch my show, so see you later. She blows a kiss, which I try relentlessly to try and deflect. And yeah, that's pretty much that promo.
Were you successful in your attempt?
No, I'm contaminated, actually. I have to go quarantine after this, so yeah.
I didn't know we were still talking about cooties.
They never died. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, we go from one fiery redhead to another because our third match, we get Kaylee Ray.
Oh, yes. Oh, you know what my summary of Kaylee Ray's performance is? 2 words.
Valiant.
She tried.
Yeah, well, kind of the same thing as Valiant.
Yeah. Man, did she try. And I kind of mean that as a compliment. I almost...
How crazy is it, though, that we had 2 debuts tonight in Shazza and Kaylee Ray, and the one that looked like she stood more of a chance to succeed in the women's division was the one that went against Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Because Emma just destroyed Shazza the way she did.
She obliterated her. And you know what's funny, Ashley? I don't know if you would echo my sentiments. Again, obviously it didn't happen, because I just blew right past our first segment. But with some of the offense that Kaylee Ray was getting, I was getting close to making it a nitpick. But the way that Nia Jax finished the match, like that whole finishing sequence, I'm like, no.
Kaylee Ray did like 3 drop kicks, and each one Nia Jax recovered more.
Right, and then when she tried to come off the ropes and Nia Jax just caught her and then planted her down, I'm like, no, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, that was quality stuff right there.
Nia Jax, what is there to say? She got rid of that ugly attire from the first time we saw her. So
I know. I even got tweeted by wrestling fan LC, one of our guys that follows us and comments on our videos, and he goes, Nia Jax has new gear. Triple H TWitWoW fan confirmed.
Yes, all day, every day.
Because, obviously, we're the only people that pointed out how awful that last year was.
Right, though.
And clearly this episode was taped after the episode that we said that for.
Exact. You got it all figured out. But yeah, Nia Jax, she does a Canadian backbreaker, so she switches it up from the bear hug from the first time we saw her, which I like that.
Dude! She's so good, and nobody's going to appreciate it because she's big and scary and doesn't do any technical stuff. She makes everything look like it could be a finisher. I would have bought Kaylee Ray tapping out to that Canadian backbreaker.
I would have too. And here's the thing I wanted to ask you, because I don't know if we shared this criticism or not, or maybe this was more me, actually, because I know you were primarily like the attire and some other stuff. But we know her finisher, where it's just kind of like this spine buster looking.
Like a Uranagi.
Uranagi, yeah, that's the term. Uranagi. I like how she proceeded it this week
with the
leg drop.
Yeah, but you know what, though? She ran into a Titus O'Neil problem.
Oh, which is?
Rather than just sitting there and letting the ref count while she has her leg draped over the
Oh, yeah.
She frickin' got up and rolled around and situated herself so that she could pin her properly. It's just like, come on, you're dominant. She's dead. Just lay there or just sit there.
I do like, though, that that's more of like a sequential kind of finisher. And you know what's funny? Like, to me, with her kind of capping it off with a leg drop, she just kind of gives that old school vibe from Monsters from yesteryear. Like,
you know what she should have done, though? And this is exclusive to me, in my opinion.
Right.
I've never been in the wrestling business, so if this is completely stupid to somebody that has, I apologize, and I would love your insight. I think she should just do a splash instead of a leg drop, because then she can just pin the person right there rather than rolling around and trying to fix it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, slam him down, go off the ropes, do a nice splash, bam.
The old Ultimate War. You don't even need to go off the ropes, just a standing splash, just jump.
Yeah, really.
You slam them down, you arrange yourself so that you're on their side, you do a standing splash, and then pin them.
Yeah, I like that. And I gotta say, just a more funny, innocent kind of observation. When Nia Jax is walking to the back, I see Izzy like clapping for Nia Jax, and I'm like, oh, Izzy, do you even know what you're clapping for? Because it could be the end of Bayley's championship reign.
But John, she smiles when she pins people. She can't be all that bad, right?
Well, then again, I smile when horrible things happen to people, you know? I mean, what does that really tell you? So...
That just tells me that you're a sociopath, but still.
I like how you said it almost affectionately. We're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, Nia Jax, I like it. She made some tweaks in attire and moveset. She's just becoming a better monster character to me. I dug it. I agree with you about the whole Titus O'Neil problem. In fact, I want to thank you for pointing that out because I didn't exactly click with that, watching it. But yeah, she's got a few hiccups still, but knowing that she's already kind of refining her game a little bit tells me that the best is yet to come for Nia Jax.
Absolutely. All right, so now we can move on to our fourth would-be match of the night. Enzo and Big Cass come out, and Enzo starts doing his thing, but then they get jumped.
Oh, God, this was just amazing.
Dawson and Dash Wilder attack Enzo and Cass just as they were starting their pre-match promo.
Yeah.
And I've got 4 words for you, John.
What's that?
Get that heel heat!
Yeah, buddy. Enzo Amore gets taken out, and then Colin Cassidy didn't stand a chance. They tossed
he really didn't. They destroyed his left leg.
So hilarious.
Just obliterated it, man.
They toss him into the apron. He's holding it, and already I can feel a smile forming on my face.
Oh my God, you are a really terrible person.
And then the mechanics get him in that, I think it was like you said, Dawson, in that Indian Deathlock. And then
it was like a modified Indian Deathlock.
And then Wilder with the stomp off the top rope and his screams upon impact. His career's over.
Oh my God!
It was amazing.
Wow.
I guess you could say that leg was SAWFT soft! I can't remember the last time I laughed so hard at somebody else's suffering. This is my segment of the night, personally.
Oh my God, you're awful.
Am I, or is Colin Cassidy just weak?
Oh my goodness. No, I'm pretty sure you're awful.
Well, fair enough. But you know what? Awful gets the bills paid, and that's what Dawson and Dash do best. Or, excuse me, as we call them here on TWitWoW by their actual name, the Mechanics. Man, did they pick that leg apart. I bet you it's hanging on by a thread. Oh, so good.
Wow.
Yeah, cut promos now, Cass. Oh, that was actually one of his best promos today. Just that those screams got so high. I mean... Wow. So
I actually have in my notes that Cass was great here.
He really was, dude. Like, way to sell that they put a hurting on you. Seriously. You know? Because I feel like if it was anybody else, they'd probably be holding the leg, making it seem like a big deal. They'd probably be sucking in that wind, like, no, Cass lets you hear it. He lets you hear, like, oh my God, my leg is just shattered. Yeah. It's really, really well done. And you know what the thing is? Because we know Dawson and Dash, they're on a tear. They want the NXT Tag Team titles, right? You know they want a match with the Vaudevillains. If they go on and they win the NXT Tag Team titles, if they can beat the Vaudevillains again, what a feud you already have set up for the return angle for Enzo and Cass to go after those titles.
Remember a couple of years ago when Enzo was the one in the wheelchair?
Exactly.
Yeah. Those have been reversed.
Now it'll be Kaz's turn. But, yeah, I mean, you already have...
You're taking way too much enjoyment out of...
Hey, look, man, look. Different strokes for different folks. Isn't that what we agreed on earlier? But, you know, I mean, in all seriousness, like, you have a great angle set up already if you are serious about making the Mechanics NXT Tag Team Champions, which that's still kind of a hovering question mark. But why not? To me, here's the thing. I love the Vaudevillains. I love that they got their moment. But I don't know. For me, for NXT...
Flavor of the month, brother.
I have to agree. I feel like only very few babyfaces, and those babyfaces, oddly enough, do seem to be in the NXT World Title picture. Other than that, though, it doesn't seem like babyfaces are for long title reigns, just traditionally. And I feel like, you know, the Mechanics... I mean, think about how over Jordan and Gable are getting, so you could do the Mechanics and Jordan and Gable. And after this, you can do one hell of a program between the Mechanics and Enzo and Cass. So, to me, I would actually say, as much as I love the Vaudevillains, put the titles on the Mechanics. Get the belts on them. Let them have the programs with all the hot babyface teams and really raise the stock of those belts. So yeah, I love this segment here. I think they set the table for a great future angle, whether it's for the gold or not. Enzo and Cass may be out of the game temporarily, but they will be back in it. And for now, the Mechanics, I mean, they're as focused as ever on those NXT Tag Team titles.
Absolutely. And, you know, I am so excited about NXT's tag division, but the one team that we keep on overlooking, and I think it's because they might even end up breaking up, but even then, I'm sure that one or both of them will find new partners. Sawyer, Fulton, and Angelo Dawkins.
Yes! Yeah, we need a follow-up to their story after that NXT Fallout exclusive that we got, where Angelo Dawkins was just, seemed pretty chill, and Sawyer Fulton was like, I'm sick of losing. We better win next time, or else. And then Angelo Dawkins is just like, or else what? Well, gee, Dawkins, why don't you use the WWE Network for $9.99 a month, go back to all the great tag teams, and see what or else means. You got plenty of history to learn from. But, yeah.
You are visceral tonight.
Look, I'm sorry, but the Mechanics just kind of unleashed it in me. They did beautiful work tonight. They shattered a man's leg. That's amazing.
They did. They really, really did.
I mean, maybe...
It was hard to watch.
Maybe Cass will think twice next time before he opens his face. Cost him his livelihood, little punk.
He wasn't even going to say anything. It was Enzo that was starting to talk.
You know what, Ashton? You don't know that. As far as I'm concerned, the Mechanics are just being preemptive. That's how I see it. And now, if we can conclude this segment of just a horrible human being.
Yeah, let's move on to talk about the Tom Phillips interview with Alexa Bliss. Also amazing.
Yeah, these two segments in tandem just show that bullying rules. If you complain about...
Just stand there like the human mic stand that you are.
I heard you laughing over there, and it was just the best sound in the world because you were so into it, and I love Alexa Bliss's heel work. And again, just this segment and the one that preceded it, just bullying's amazing to me,
Dude,
particularly in the NXT universe.
People like such garbage.
She really does. Like, every time Alexa Bliss cuts a really good promo, the biggest compliment I could give her is, wow, what a bitch.
I feel like there's a certain sect of people out there that are going to end up showing it up in a show and being like, holding up signs that say, abuse me, Alexa.
Oh my god. It's gonna happen, especially now that you put it out in the universe. Somebody's gonna be like, well, I'm going to a future NXT show. That's a great idea. But yeah, I loved Alexa.
And they're in the front row, and she sees the sign, and she walks up to him, and they're just like, yeah, do it. And she just slaps the taste out of their mouth.
And then they're just gonna be like, thank you.
And then they go home and masturbate that night.
Oh my god, so many ways I could take that, but I'm gonna bypass them all and just keep focusing on the promo. Alexa Bliss, just pretty much, reaffirming she will be NXT Women's Champion, but William Regal agreed with her idea. Next week, there's going to be a 6-person tag, Alexa Bliss and her boys, Blake and Murphy, against Bayley, and in Alexa's words, 2 losers that could possibly team up with you. And I love, you know that you're a great heel douche when you laugh at your own material. Because they were just, Blake and Murphy just were yucking it up the whole time.
They're and then when so good.
And then when Alexa Bliss found herself to be humorous, these guys are magic together. They really are. Like,
they're such stereotypes too. Like, I feel like Alexa could have had the opportunity to kill Bayley, but she would just constantly tell her, this is what my plan was all along. Like,
exactly.
She's such a freaking villain. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'll just put it out there. Speaking of villains, I do believe the Vaudevillains will answer Bayley's call, and they will be part of the 6.
I was thinking the same thing, so I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah, this is a great promo from Blurfexa, mainly Alexa Bliss, because she did all the talking. Yeah. And yeah, this trio, just incredible. In fact, and I will say this too, if Blake and Murphy were to come up to the main roster as a tag team, because that was kind of a talking point we had earlier, Alexa Bliss better be a part of the deal, because they just feel so much more complete with her than without her.
I think she definitely puts them over the top.
Yeah.
Because before she showed up, I still really loved them, but once she did show up, I feel like more people were talking about them as a unit.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm right there with you, bro. So, love this promo. Love these guys. These two segments were perfect together. I'm so glad that it was structured the way that it was. Because, man, it's one thing to enjoy your own inner douche, as I do on a regular basis. It's another thing to enjoy your inner douche in the company of other douchebags. And I really felt like I had the opportunity to do that here. So, I'm just tops right now. So.
Okay. I'm glad you feel that way, John.
Yeah!
This was the high point of the night, though. I will say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even though what happened the rest of the night was pretty good, it was nowhere near this good.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
NXT, it's weird. NXT kind of did like, you know how sometimes I talk about they do like a picket fence style where the first and last matches were really good and then there was one match in the middle that was good too?
Right.
This was the opposite of that because the two peaks were at like the 1/4 and 3/4 marks.
Right.
Like the first peak was the Gable, Jordan, Gargano, Ciampa match. And then this whole thing with Dash and Dawson assaulting Big Cass and Alexa Bliss verbally assaulting Bayley.
Yeah, was just like the height of the show.
Yeah.
Because then it just seemed to like not necessarily hit a lull, but really just kind of cool down.
Well, then we found out that Finn Balor versus Apollo Crews for the title will happen next week.
Yeah.
And we get Apollo Crews' little documentary, part 2. They talk about his debut in Brooklyn and then his win at the number 1 contender battle royal a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just says, he just wants to do the best that he can. He respects Finn Balor. Finn Balor's beaten the best in the world, but he's never faced Apollo Crews. And despite the fact that he, respects Finn Balor, make no mistake, next week he's coming for that NXT title and he will be NXT champion. Talked about before that how great it is, to be a part of NXT. He talked about the debut in Brooklyn, 16,000 people going crazy for him. So, I think they did a good job here really depicting his motivations, his feelings going into the big bout. And yeah, I liked it. I would say that the video package last week had a bit more oomph to it and was a bit more powerful for me, I guess because that was more about his past and not so much about his present. But this was still good. I think this still achieved its job.
Yeah, this is almost like this was weird to me because like last week they got us caught up and we're like,
right.
Okay, so now we know what happened in this dude's past. And now this week they're like, hey guys, in case you missed it, this is what happened in the last 2 months.
Right. So I don't know, like maybe if you've been out of the loop for whatever reason, but you've known Apollo Crews from the Indies, maybe this is kind of your way to kind of reintegrate yourself into everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hadn't even thought of that, but you're right.
I mean, that is one possibility. Granted, to me, I look at it very loosely. But, hell, even if you're not familiar, maybe you're just like, oh, I'll check this guy out. His story seems interesting. And maybe your exposure to him against Finn, will be against Finn Balor next week. But I do like that they did that again. The preceding week was a bit more poignant, a bit more powerful. But this one did its job, and I got no complaints about it.
Absolutely agree. Let's move on. Main event of the evening, Tyler Breeze versus Samoa Joe. A decent match, nothing special. Definitely not the match of the night because of that tag match that we loved so much, but still, I would say second to that.
Yeah, Ashton, I don't mean to denigrate the main event or to just kind of spit on it or whatever. But again, this just seemed like, the usual Tyler Breeze match, had great back and forth between him and his opposition. Some great kind of catch in your throat near falls from Breeze where it's like, oh my God, is he going to get like this big win over this babyface? But then the babyface ultimately just triumphs. Joe does get the win here.
So you're saying Tyler Breeze matches are cookie cutter?
I don't... See, I enjoy them. I had fun with this match.
You can say yes, John.
But, yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean,
so you're saying he's perfect for the main roster?
Yeah. The more you think about it, yeah, I think he'll do just fine there now that he's there. Can
we just bring up that he's literally Ziggler 2.0?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like he's feuding with his bedroom mirror here. Feuding with Dolph Ziggler, except I'm sure his bedroom mirror is like covered in like boa fur or whatever. I don't freaking know.
Can we also bring up that I've been saying that he was going to be Ziggler 2.0 since before NXT was even a thing?
Yeah, you were.
Back when he was still Mike Dalton in FCW.
Yeah. Oh, man. So yeah, good matchup,
This
but
guy.
again, like, yeah, exactly.
Here I go, taking way too much credit for nothing.
But, a good matchup, but it's really what I've come to expect from Tyler Breeze. Like, there's nothing really surprising here. There are no real standout moments to me in this match. I did like the sequence where he kind of rolls out of the Muscle Buster into the Sunset Flip for the near fall. That was a pretty cool sequence. But, yeah, I mean, this match, it was good, but especially compared to the tag match and just other Tyler Breeze matches, this really wasn't anything to write home about, in my opinion, so.
Yeah.
All right. You have anything else you want to say about it?
I don't know. Do you?
No, I'm good. So it sounds like you're good too. So why don't we just move on to our next segment? High spots.
No.
Okay.
Finn Balor cut a promo.
Oh, that's right. He did cut a promo. I guess this was just so straightforward that I really didn't pay much mind to it because, yeah, he pretty much said that he respects Apollo Crews. In the Battle Royal, he beat Tyler Breeze, he beat Samoa Joe, he beat Baron Corbin, but you know who he hasn't beaten? Finn Balor. And, like, as much as I respect him and as great a competitor as he is, I've worked 15 years to get here, and one day Apollo Crews will be NXT champion, but it will not be next week. And then that was Finn's promo.
That was really well done, too. He showed some real fire there.
I like that. Yeah, it showed that determination, that pride in being champion. Like, hey, Apollo, I may respect you, but don't mix that up with you having the ability to walk all over me because that's not going to happen. So I really appreciated that. Yeah, this is a solid promo from Balor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, ready to move on then.
Now I can jump the shark and clear the landing. High spots and low shots. I don't think I've ever taken this much glee in a low shot before. Colin Cassidy.
Oh my God.
Get well soon, Colin. Get well soon. That leg got destroyed. Yeah. Just destroyed people. Oh my God.
We get it, John. Thanks.
Yeah. So you got this now. Who's your low shot?
Low shot. I hadn't given this much thought. I know who my high spot is already. I think I'm going to make I almost feel like you took the easy way out there. My low shot's Tyler Breeze because he just keeps on getting these great matches and he just keeps on losing them.
I took the enjoyable way out, you mean? But yeah, I agree with your low shot. Tyler Breeze, man, he's always that guy that can put on a good in-ring matchup, but always just come up short when it matters most. My high spot, man, I gotta give it to my new boys, Jordan and Gable. Had match of the night, and they won it. And they're fanfare for both of them now. And again, it's just so amazing to say that. It's not just Gable anymore. This team has been embraced. They're really becoming one of the hottest tag teams in NXT. I always will believe that Enzo and Cass do hold that distinction, but I'll be damned if Jordan and Gable aren't starting to give those guys a run for their money with their reactions. They had an amazing night tonight, and I'm just so happy to make them my high spot.
I dig that, and my high spot is Emma because she had the most dominant performance tonight by quite a bit.
She whooped that ass.
She did.
All right, man. I completely agree with you. I love me some Emma, so I got no objections there. With that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best.
Wow.
Wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Partner, what questions do you have for our viewers about this week's episode of NXT?
Which NXT tag team is your favorite?
I love it.
Well, what's yours, John?
Jordan and Gable, baby. Jordan and Gable.
And I gotta stick with my old steadfast. I still think Blurfy Blurfy is my favorite.
Awesome. So guys, talk to us. I mean, the mechanics have been making an impact. Vaudevillains are the champions. They used to be my old favorite. You got Jordan and Gable. I mean, the tag team division in NXT is on fire right now. So I'll be very. I'll be
Cass, even though I know you don't want to acknowledge them because one of them is half dead right now.
Half dead, quite literally, on those lower extremities, though. So Enzo and Cass, Blake and Murphy, again, NXT tag team division is on fire. Maybe if Ty Dillinger would quit being such a schlub, he can find a new partner, too.
Wow, Ty Dillinger doesn't need a partner, John. He's gonna be a single star, all right?
Oh, I forgot. He's tag team partners for life with Failure. Yeah. Just sticking the finger in the wound.
You are just the worst. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, John, when one of these days Ty Dillinger by himself cripples the mechanics?
Wow. That's, it's quite a prediction there, but I'll tell you what, the day that happens, I don't know. Unicorns will be proven to exist or something. I don't know. I was trying to think of something clever, but I can't. And Ty Dillinger isn't even worth the effort anyway, let's be honest. So, everybody.
But the goal was to throw you off your game, so I succeeded.
Oh, did you? Were you a perfect 10 in that endeavor? Yeah, congratulations. You know what Ty Dillinger's perfect endeavor is? Never being NXT champion, because it's never going to happen.
Wow, it hurts so much.
So, now that I've killed at least 50% of people's hopes and dreams, because I know there's another rational 50% out there, contribute to the discourse. Who's your favorite tag team? Who would you recommend me get professional help for? Because clearly I have issues after this episode of NXT. And guys, be sure to take the conversation over to TWitWoW, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. Guys, I cannot tell you how many NXT fans are in that group. I know there are people that when you see an NXT ad go to the main roster, I'll see posts about, oh, I'm sorry for so-and-so's demotion to the main roster. So a lot of diehard NXT fans there, but I get it. If you're just like, John, goddamn, if you could just stop pressuring me for 1 week. I just want some solitude and just enjoy a nice intimate group. You can go to the TWitWoW subreddit that Ashton's created. There you will see all of our TWitWoW content, and you can create threads there directed at Ashton or myself on all things pro wrestling. And guys, with that said, we will see you again. I don't believe we have any pay-per-views or live reactions. You may be getting an ROH review. We don't know. So just be on the lookout then for our next episode of...
No ROH reviews for a while.
No ROH reviews for a while, so there you go. Yeah, I know me and Ash have been talking that out lately. So just be on the lookout again for Luchador Spotlight. That's because, right. Yeah. And when we appreciate the feedback on the Son of Havoc one so far, it seems like you guys have been, kind of inching towards Dario and Matanza just being grouped together in an episode. So be on the lookout for that, guys. It's going to be amazing. And until then, tune in and peace out.